Are you ready to get the support you need for your author career and life? Join international indie bestseller Angela J. Ford and fantasy author Stephanie Wabwa as they talk all things writing, publishing, and the real life of an indie author. Welcome to the Indie Author Lifestyle Show. Living your best indie life starts here.
Welcome to the Indie Author Lifestyle Show. This is episode 11, and Stephanie and I are back right before Christmas with just another episode. So, Stephanie, tell me what's new in your world.
Hey, Angela, nothing much. Always in the writing cave per usual. And I'm using the ridiculous cold that is winter outside these doors as an excuse to just stay in my writing cave and not leave the house. I think I woke up this morning and it was 25 degrees, but it felt like 19. And so that's when I told myself, oh, dear friend, you're staying indoors. It is way too cold. But I've been writing and I'm super excited. So I've been getting some revelations, the little light bulbs that go off when we're writing and we realize, oh, this is what our stories need to do. It's been super fun. Got the idea for the short story that will open up my series, which will also be my freemium to build my list, which, we can dive into strategies like that later on. But yeah, so I'm excited. The short story has been going really good. It's been one of those like gut stories where, you're writing and it just kind of like flows out because it's just there and it's like ready to come out and everything kind of like lined up perfectly. So I'm really excited. I've been pouring all of my energy into that. I gave my manuscript a break for a bit, which is good because that behemoth of a draft needed a pause. And so I've been diving into that short story and still working on the episodic story. I think we're going to be going into episode 4 next week, which is really fun. And the latest option was either a seahorse or an eelhound. And I'm waiting to see what these readers will choose. I know which one I want, but you never know with your readers. They always end up choosing the surprising choice. So that's been my world of writing. What about you? What's been going on?
Oh, well, I am officially on break right now. I actually just got back from my honeymoon a couple of days ago, and I have to one up you on the coldness because I went ice skating in 13-degree weather,
Oh,
and that
no.
was a cold experience.
Oh, no,
Had
no.
icicles in my hair.
No, no.
It was amazing. But it was a lot of fun. Just up in the mountains with all the snow and all that fun stuff. But now I'm back in the warmth of Nashville, which means 40s. So it's awesome. And I haven't been writing. I haven't really been doing anything but having fun and giving my brain a break. I have episode 10 of my episodic story to write. I really want to get that done and out the door before the new year so that people can vote on it. And I'm having a little season finale with it, which is kind of fun. So I feel like this is the end, like 10 episodes in, this is kind of the end of this part, and we're going on to kind of a different sort of phrasing with the story. So we'll see how it goes. But that's about it. And my book, Pawn, the first book in the Night of the Dark Face series, is with my editor. So that also really encourages me to take a break too, because she's editing and I'm doing nothing. It's so wonderful. I know that's not what we talked about in episode 10, what to do when your book is with your editor, but I'm doing nothing instead of prepping. So that's what's
breaks
happening.
are necessary. Breaks are like super important. I feel like when you initially send it off to the editor, that's like prime season to just binge shows and drink all the cocoa and coffee and just do nothing. Like just let your brain relax and do absolutely nothing. Just chill.
Yeah, and it really helps that it's Christmas. Like, it's so good to just take a break and do all that. And speaking of, we have a really great interview with USA Today bestselling author Meg Cowley. And I'm really excited to dig into her interview. We talked about a lot of great things, including breaks and what to do when life catches up with you. And so I really hope you guys enjoy this episode. Welcome to the Indie Author Lifestyle Show. And today we have a very special guest, Meg Cowley. She is a USA Today Bestselling fantasy author, and she is from Yorkshire, England, where she lives with her husband, son, and two cats. Since 2017, she has been a full-time writer and has sold approximately, this is a massive number, so I hope you are listening, 125,000 books worldwide to date. In addition to writing, she's also an experienced illustrator, having worked in a variety of fields from adult coloring books to private commissions. Currently, she operates a successful business illustrating fantasy book covers. She loves everything fantasy, magic, and dragons, and has been a writer and author since could pick up a pencil. She works best when fueled by Earl Grey tea, margarita pizza, and characters who want to as they're told. She's passionate about writing sweeping fantasies with characters that could step off the page and worlds that could be as real as our own. Meg, welcome to the show. We're really excited to have you on. So tell
Hello,
us.
Angela. Hi, Stephanie. Thank you so much for having me. That sounds way more glamorous than what my daily existence is.
Thanks for being on. We're so excited to have you.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about why you decided to be an indie author. And you do this full time as well as your illustrating business. So I'd love to know. I mean, like, obviously, you've been doing this a long time, but what got you started? What made you kind of take the leap to do this full time?
Well, I guess I've always had a passion for being creative. When I was a kid, I loved drawing and making up stories. When I was in school, I learned to write, and obviously that's another way to tell stories. It's always just been a passion. It's been something that's as easy and necessary as breathing to me. But when I was growing up, indie author, it wasn't a thing. It just didn't exist. You had to get traditionally published. That was it. So it was something that I always vaguely aspired to, but I don't think I ever thought it would really happen, because you don't just grow up and be a writer. People don't do that. That's not a proper job, right? We've all had the talk from our parents. You need to go get a degree and go get this job and blah 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 blah. So stupidly, I listened. So my school were kind of pushing everyone off to university to go get fancy degrees, and I was just like, oh, this isn't really for me. So I ended up going out and getting a job in accountancy, because there was literally nothing I wanted to do, and it passed the time. It was very boring. So then I decided that maybe I should go do a job that was really valuable to society, and I would sacrifice myself for the noble cause of education, because being a writer obviously still wasn't a thing. Being an artist was not a thing. It was not going to pay my bills, and mortgage companies do not accept a pretty picture or a story in payment of mortgages, which I do not understand, but that's a thing. So I ended up training to be a teacher, which was a different kind of hell, to be quite honest. And I was not cut out for it. I think we have brilliant children and brilliant teachers, but it's kind of a broken system, and I realized it just really wasn't for me. So I stuck with my crappy uni job, which was in retail, working very unsociable hours and being quite fed up. And I was writing stories on the side, and that sort of kept me sane, really. I would write and draw on the side. And one day, they just kind of pulled me in. I'd been there for 5 years, model employee. I would bend over backwards for that company. I worked every late shift they asked, all the rest of it. And they just kind of pulled me in and went, yeah, we don't have a job for you anymore. Bye-bye. And I was like, wait, what? So they were like, I mean, we've got this other job that you can do. You just blah blah blah. And I was like, well, I don't really want to do that. And they were like, well, it's that or nothing. And I kind of went home and freaked out to my husband, and he just went, why don't you just quit? And obviously, like, my brain was like, well, we have bills, and we have bills, and if I don't have money coming in, we still have bills. But he just, I don't know, he has a crazy wonderful way of turning like insane panic that is like so overwhelming I just can't function, into calm, rational ways forward. And he somehow crazily convinced me that actually we could totally manage and it would be totally fine, and I should just walk away. So I did. I had 1 week's notice, 1 week's pay, no savings in the bank, and I was so scared, and it was the best thing I ever did. From then, I went into a mentorship with a charity here called the Prince's Trust, which is founded and patroned by Prince Charles. And they helped me get a grant to start my business up, and the rest is history. I never looked back. It was really hard and exhausting, and I didn't know if I was going to make it, but I mean, a couple of years in, and it's really nice to be able to look back and think, I have so much further to go. There is still so much more to do, and I've achieved so much, and I'm so privileged to be able to now be able to do my dream job day in, day out, write stories, draw beautiful pictures, and now have the flexibility to balance raising my son. I now have an 18-month-old toddler, whilst also paying bills, and I earn way more now than I ever did before, and it's just so gratifying to think that there is a way to actually be able to do your dream job. And for me, that's this, and I never thought it was possible. So yeah, I just feel incredibly lucky.
Honestly, your story is so inspiring because there are so many people that, you think of your J.K. Rowling's, right? She was in that
Yeah,
predicament where
yeah.
she reached rock bottom. She was like, I'm sick of this. And she had to
Mhm.
find something else.
Yeah.
And boom, Harry Potter,
Mhm.
life changed. And so it's incredibly inspiring because, first of all, I love that. Okay, so obviously it was a bad thing. You bend over backwards and they're like, okay, well, here's your option. You do this or you're gone, And
Mm.
it's hilarious because a couple of days ago I saw like a little quote thing on Facebook or whatever, and it was like, shout out to all the creatives who have a side hustle, or trying to replace their 9 to 5 just in case their 9 to 5 decides to replace them, and it's like,
Yeah.
that's a reality. And so to know that, well, how awesome it is for your husband to be like, just quit, and for that to be the
Yeah.
pivotal turning point. But you really have
Yeah.
that story that so many writers or so many writing enthusiasts have, where they
Yeah.
want to fly into the realm of writing and create books and do that for a living, but
Yeah.
they're so scared. And sometimes it's unfortunate, but it takes that, listen, we don't have a job for you
Mm.
here anymore. And it's like, okay, well, I
Yeah.
guess I have to turn to writing now.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, this is your chance. Try it. You have got nothing left to lose because you already don't have a job. You might as well try it. And genuinely, I credit my husband for supporting me, because he was so incredible for moral support, and obviously in the beginning financial support. We had just, gosh, when was this, 2017? Yeah, so we had got married the year before, we bought a house, we got on an expensive honeymoon. I just replaced my car, and it was like, it was not the time to just have an income source completely dry up. But he had so much faith in what I was doing. And I mean, when I published my first book in 2014, he, along with everyone else, thought I was completely mental. I just turned around one day and was like, I'm writing a book. And he was like, okay, sure. And, my parents were like, right, okay. And then they saw the printed copy of the book and they're like, this is cool. Good for you. Go get a proper job now. And then when the money started coming in, I mean, like, my husband had faith before that, but I think for other people, certainly it's only when the money starts coming in that they realize that this is okay, this is viable, this is like a grown-up thing now. So I think it's really difficult because it's very stereotypical that you can't just walk into this creative field and just earn money like you can do with any other job, and it is terrifying. But I found that I think that facing your fear is quite often a really productive thing, because yes, it's terrifying, but often it's not quite as bad and big and bad and ugly as what you think, and you can actually deal with it and face through quite a lot more things than what you would think in the first place. And sometimes you have to be pushed rather than jumping. But I found it a very good thing, and I don't regret it. And I really wish I could go back and sit in the office with my bosses, who also thought I was absolutely mental crazy, and just be like, this is what I've achieved. just to show them that actually it was possible. And it might be crazy, but not for the reasons they think.
Seriously, that is so amazing. Hats off. Hats off.
Thank you.
And that's so inspiring. I didn't realize all the different things that happened with your story, Meg. And it just is really inspiring for me because that's so cool that, that happened, what, in 2017? And
Yeah.
here it is at the time of the recording of this
Mhm.
podcast. It is 2019, the end of 2019. And
Yeah.
you
Oh
are,
no, sorry, it wasn't 2017, it was 2015.
okay.
I feel like I'm getting old now. My years are just getting muddled up. I'm missing decades here. Yeah, sorry, 2015. So it's just last week. It was 4 years. That was it. 4 years since I quit the job. Yeah. So like literally 2 months after we just bought like the dream house that was at the top of our budget and all the rest of it. So it was stressful. I think that maybe that's when the grey hair started.
That's so funny because that is actually the year that I quit my job. I just was fed up and I was like, I can't. I'm going to go off and freelance and write novels
Yes.
and goodbye.
I think maybe there's something in us that is just so different to other people, but I am just not made for a job. I am not made to work for the man. It's just not how I roll. And I aspire to more than that, and I need more than that in my life. I don't like the thought of just sitting behind a desk earning money for someone else. Just I did that, and it just like it drains your soul of all joy and color. And I think if you can't enjoy life, what the heck's the point?
I agree. Like if you, like you said, not made to work for the man. I can't sit in the same space like that. It's just thinking of it. I'm like, oh no, we're not doing that. That's not the move. And so, and so you're led into that creative field. But so your indie career literally just had a crash course. Like you had to. It was like dive in and figure it out yesterday.
Ride or die.
Ride or die. And so how did you get off your feet fast and then for y'all to be like, okay, we're gonna be good, you don't have we're down to one income, we have the dream house, we have the new car, we're newlyweds, we're trying to understand each other, we're newly married, but yet
no, I mean we've been together for a lot of years. We've been together for nearly 12. I'm losing track of numbers, like 12 years now.
Nice.
So I think we got married maybe like 6 or 7 and something years in. So we have had plenty of time to know each other. And for some strange reason, we've stuck about. But
then maybe that's probably why he also like kind of knew, like there was probably that innate understanding, like no, she can do this. I know. Girl, and
when I went to do my degree, he only told me like a year or so after I did it. He was like, yeah, I knew that was a bad idea. I knew that wasn't for you. I was like, why the heck didn't you tell me? He was like, well, you wouldn't have listened. That's not the point.
but how did you figure it out though? I mean, like it was literally like jump in, ride or die, like, so how did you get off your feet and get your wings so quickly in the indie community as an author?
Well, like I said, I published my first book in 2014, and after that I was writing, but it was in a sort of, I just discovered Joanna Penn, the creative pen, and it was also a bit new. I wasn't really sure how to do it, but I knew that there was a way. And then adult coloring books became a thing, and I kind of jumped on that. I loved illustrating and did a few of them, had some financial success there, and that really made me think, oh, it is possible to make money in this. But that was a fad and a trend, and that died off. And I realized that actually, yeah, it was fun, but I needed a solid business plan if I was going to actually make a success of this. So I finished the third book and final book in my series, and in January 2017, I had all 3 books and the lead magnet ready to go. And I've not really managed to get any success with anything else. The colouring books are dying out. It wasn't really working, and I've been out of my job for a year. I was just making ends meet, and I took Mark Dawson's 101 course, which really helped affirm sensible strategies at that time for branding, launching, things like that, get my ducks in a row. And I ended up rapid releasing the 3 books in the trilogy, 1 per month. just before the release, I'd done a lead magnet. I built a subscriber list of a few thousand people, and this is a couple of years ago, so newsletters were performing really well. 90% open rates, 56% click rates. It was, it was the golden time for newsletters because no one was really doing it. But that allowed me to actually make that initial splash, and that really showed me that it was possible. And I got to 4 figures in a month, like low 4 figures, but it was still like, wow, okay, this is way better than my supermarket job, and this is actually earning money. But unfortunately, then so this was April 2017, I actually had an ectopic pregnancy. So that's, if anyone doesn't know, that's where the baby is outside the womb and it can't survive, but it's fatal to the mother unless it's operated. So unfortunately, that kind of derailed literally everything. Life just went on hold for quite a few months. That was a really hard thing to deal with physically, mentally, emotionally, grieving, healing. That was a really, really hard time. So I didn't really write during that time. But after I'd recovered, I ended up joining in a project with a few other authors, which was a USA Today list aiming box set. And that really got me back into the indie scene, and that was really good. I met some great people, learned a lot about marketing, and it was also hell. It was really hard and exhausting, but I just kind of poured myself into that. And that's how I got my USA Today bestseller status with the Marked by Fate box set, which was awesome. And after that, I kind of got myself back on track, but I was pregnant with my son by this time. So I'm kind of just getting somewhere and then life derails, and I'm just getting somewhere and life derails. And that is kind of the pattern of the past few years. I just get somewhere and then life's like, let's go on a tangent. So I had my son, and I've sort of been easing back into work since I had him, and I've published almost finished publishing my second epic fantasy series. But just before I finished for my maternity leave, which was in March 2018, I released a box set of the first 3 books in my initial trilogy, and it just blew away. It made 6 figures, and it saved me at a time when I was going on maternity leave. I could not write books and could not earn money, and the next month I had like a 20 grand paycheck in my bank, and it was like, oh my god, thank you universe for delivering right what I needed when I needed it again. And it was just the feeling, because I mean, in that January I earned $200, and when this box set came up, it was a case of it's a ride or die kind of situation. This is it, pour everything we have. And I saw the income coming in, and we maxed out every credit card. I emptied every bank account to pay for ads to keep this money coming in. And when that money landed, it was like, oh my god, we've done it, thank god we've done it. And that was just amazing. So it's by no means been an easy journey, and definitely not a straightforward one. It's kind of some steps forward and some steps back, but the perseverance has been the key, and not giving up.
No, that's amazing. And I love that you shared both the highs and the lows. I think one of the things that is really hard when we see, like when I see successful authors, is we just see the success and we don't see the journey. And that's what we're really all about over here at Indie Author Lifestyle. We like to have real talk. We like to talk
the
about
authenticity.
Yes. It's not all sunshine and roses. Like things happen. Like we'll always be like writing hardcore, churning out every single month. Like we have life. Like you have a son now, and you needed time off during your pregnancy in order to just not focus on the work and the writing. It's amazing that you were able to bring in that income and make
I was so grateful. And unfortunately the market's changed. It's as we've talked about quite regularly, to our mutual frustration, the algorithms keep changing, AMS keeps changing. Oh my goodness, why do they keep changing? It is not broken, stop fixing it. But it's just a case of, okay, dig in, refocus, and refigure out how to work in the new system. But it's certainly not been easy, but it's worth it.
No, but totally. When you were sharing before, first of all, it's so much to unpack. incredibly inspiring. And like Angela said, I love that you shared the highs and the lows. And thank you for being so vulnerable, because listeners need to know that, you know, it's not going to
Yeah.
be a perfect journey. It will be hard. You will have
No.
people reach out you. You will have to
Oh
prove
yeah.
to them, you know, you're going to have to show them like, I have money in the bank, you know, like this is a real thing. And also it's good for them to know, hey, if you're going through a tough time, do not beat yourself up because
No.
you can't write in this season. Life is life. And sometimes we need to take a break, but
Yeah.
there will be a
That is so right.
still there waiting for you when you come back.
Yeah.
You know, I
That
know,
is so right. Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Since having my son, I've definitely learned that there are seasons in life, and this is a completely different season to what's come before. As the seasons that come will be completely different to this, and that has been a complete game changer, eye opener, revelation.
Absolutely. But honestly though, but some major things happen through that though. I mean, you managed to get into this, the thing that really stuck out to me is you managed to get into this USA Today bestselling, like this. I've seen it before where it's like a group, and you know, you gotta, you know, get your way in, and then there's a whole lot of
Yeah,
work.
it is
Can
hard.
you talk about that process? Because I know that I initially saw it and like the surface of it, and I was like, oh yeah, no, I don't think I'm built for this right now. And so
Yeah.
like I literally stepped back. But for readers who don't even know like what that is,
Hmm.
like walk us through that process.
Yeah. I'll preface this by saying it was worth it, but I would not do it again, and I am glad I do not have to do it again because it was hard. So the Marked by Fate set was 25 or 26 authors, and we all contributed a novel to this box set. We all bought in money, so that money was spent on covers, advertising, things like that. The goal was to get as many pre-orders as we could to hit the USA Today bestseller list when we launched. All the pre-orders that you get count in launch week, and you have something, I think it's like Tuesday through Tuesday counts for USAT, but then like Monday through Sunday counts for New York Times. There's different timescales for the different lists anyway. And we wanted to hit them all. We only made USAT, but it was still a huge achievement. And there was just a lot of work. It's not like you just throw some money in and boom, you know, AMS gobbles it up and spits you out 1,000 pre-orders or something like that. It's not like that. You have to be on it all the time. You are messaging readers, you are posting in a million groups, you are emailing people, you're trying to get you subs, you're trying to do these unique things that will attract readers to buy your set over all the other books out there because you're doing something cool and different. So we were innovative in quite a lot of different ways, and it was really nice because the box sets after us copied quite a lot of what we did. So that was quite gratifying in being sort of like trailblazers in that. The one thing that really set us apart was I brought augmented reality to it. So every single book in that set, I made sure had some augmented reality, which was completely not the done thing. And that was a heck of a lot of extra work. But again, it was something cool and groundbreaking and interesting and different that brought new people to our set. But yeah, basically everyone in the set worked incredibly, incredibly hard for a long time, like 6 months and more. Yeah, and it was hours every day, every single person. It was incredibly draining, and especially when I just had the ectopic pregnancy and everything that we were going through, it was a welcome focus, but it was very, very tiring. So when we launched, I think on that week we got maybe somewhere between about 13 and 15,000 copies sold that week, and that's how we hit USAT. I think we got to number 56 or 58, something like that. So we did quite well. But wow, I sat back after that and it was like, I am exhausted. I need to sleep for a week. It was incredible, but yeah, wouldn't want to do it again. It's got harder and harder to hit the lists as well. So it's something that I think the window is closing on the potential of being able to do that in a multi-author box set, which is unfortunate. Because it is a great marketing boost to have, to be able to put USAT bestseller on your covers. It does help. So yeah, that's a little behind the scenes.
That is incredible. I've seen those too, and I really debated about joining one, but
Yeah.
the work, it is just,
There's
wow,
so much.
so intense.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
there any kind of marketing like tactics that you learned from being part of that you were able to apply to yourself, or was it just really like exclusively for that group?
Yeah, it was very, very specialized, and things change so fast in our industry and have changed so much since that I would say what I've learned there is not really current, but it taught me a lot of valuable things at the time that I didn't know then that have sort of helped, but not in a direct way, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I haven't had any other books that I've done crazy long pre-orders on or gone wide with and stuff. So there were limited stuff that I could take as a KU writer.
No, that's really cool. And so, as far as like the illustration side of things, so when did you start merging the two? When from writing to doing your covers to then actually making that a business to do that for other authors? Like when did the two worlds really blend and it became, just your overall career, fusing the two?
That would be early 2017. So just after I rapid released those first 3 books, I started doing covers that year, and they were terrible, obviously, compared to what I do now. But at the time, it was, I did them really cheap, and it was a way to learn the skill. And I had people who were, I mean, obviously, it was a really good deal. I think I did book covers for like £50 or $50, something like that. It was super cheap, so it allowed me to
Ooh,
earn that bit of extra money and get the clients. But it increased my skill set as well. And obviously, they were getting a great deal. But yeah, it was about 2 years ago that I merged the two businesses. I quit covers whilst I was off on maternity leave. I came back into the writing, and it's only been in the past 3 or so months that I've started doing covers again. But I've had to upskill a lot. The market for covers, like the market for books, has changed so much and developed so much. So I've worked really hard to upskill to the level of some of the other designers out there, and it's been a ton of fun. People are giving me great projects to work on, and I am really privileged to be able to work with so many lovely authors that I know from the writing community, and it's really nice to work with them on other creative projects too.
No, that's amazing. It's really cool to see kind of how far you've come. And I know that I like to use you for my typography, which I actually
Yes,
have another project for you coming soon.
awesome.
It's just a lot of fun. But no, I like that
Yeah,
you are an author, and so you get what authors really need when it
exactly. Yeah,
comes to
it
and
helps to have the back door.
yes, yes. I feel like some authors they kind of just skim over it and they don't realize how powerful a cover is
Yeah.
when it comes to the marketing piece. So is that something?
Yeah, I mean, I bought a book the other week, and it was a one-click buy cover, and actually the book I really didn't enjoy it, but the cover was so good. It was like, I need that. So it is so important.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's just something that I just love seeing the covers. And even
Yeah.
more, I realize that I've gotten obsessed with the pre-made covers and I'm trying to like calm down and not like run
Yeah.
a little stack
Yeah.
of books that I need to write. But it's really fun. And that's something that you're doing now too. Like, or perhaps you've always done it, but you have the pre-made covers and you like a little release every week,
Yeah. Yeah.
a little teaser.
hmm
I really like that.
Yeah. I've just started doing that. So yeah, I'm hoping that will help attract more people into the cover design business side of things, because it's so fun. I love it. It's like a different part of the creative brain to writing, but yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But it's still that visualizing, and you
hmm
just really do. You just do fantasy covers, is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Nice. And
That's where my heart is.
how do you find balance between the two when it comes, you have
Oh.
that other, you have your next series that you're trying to wrap up. And so,
hmm
I
hmm
mean, let's just be real. All three of us are designers on here, right? And so it's like
Yeah.
there is sometimes there's a struggle with the balance because I'll get lost in
Yeah.
design work or I'll get lost in the story. And it's like,
hmm
you've got to do both.
Yeah.
So how do you
Yeah.
prioritize your time and how do you manage your time to make sure that they both get that equal time, attention,
Mm.
and also excellence as well?
Yeah, I really struggle, to be completely honest. So I've just started up the covers again this year. But to be honest, we've had a really bad year, and since my son was born, I've actually really struggled with very bad postpartum depression.
Mm.
So I have not been writing much for the past maybe 4 months. I've not written for 2.5 of those in sort of patches. So that's given me the time to focus on the covers. That's been really quite a nice distraction and quite sort of calming and fulfilling. But typically I work on my writing stuff in the morning, and then admin covers in the afternoon and evening. My son goes to daycare 3 days a week, so those are the days that I work on. That's it. But I do really find it challenging because writing is a full-time job, cover design is a full-time job, raising a child is a full-time job, and then there's the husband and the house and having a social life and having free time, all the things. So it's really it is a challenge to balance, but I will show you, I live by my bullet journal, my bujo, and that really helps keep me organized. And what I've really focused on is minimizing. I only focus on the barest minimum of tasks. So if it's not writing a book or reaching readers, if it's not designing a cover and dealing with my clients, and if it's not, looking after myself and my family, then is it that important? Does it need to be done? Probably not. And I just cut ruthlessly everything that I can, because there's only so much energy, there's only so much willpower, there's only so much time that you have in every given day. And I have got past the point where I feel the need to be a perfectionist and overachieve and fit in all the things. And that's taken about 3 years to get from the mentality of I must do all these million things to simplify and just do, this one thing and that one thing and do it well, and that's enough. So I would not say that I'm perfect by any means, and I would not say that it's easy at all, but that's how I try and focus on it on a daily basis, is by segmenting those blocks of time and really stripping out anything that's not essential. This week, my goal is to stop picking my phone up, because weirdly enough, if I pick my phone up, I don't get work done. Can you imagine? So I'm putting a ban. I'm putting a ban on Facebook. I'm putting a ban on all my fun little WhatsApp author groups. And I am showing up and writing words and making art. So that is my promise to myself.
Seriously, such sage advice for because I mean that's the thing. Like when you're working for yourself, it can be really easy to get caught up in doing all the things. Angela and I talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
We're done and tired with trying to do all the things, and the fact that you said, hey, if it's not work for business or for family, you've got to go. You know what I mean? And
but even things like inside the business, I find that there's a lot of things that just creep onto the to-do list and masquerade themselves as very important. Actually really stripping back what my brand is, what my business is, and what's going to get me to the point I want to be at, I can actually strip away a lot of things that are extraneous and would otherwise bury me with like all these meaningful little tasks. I guess it's maybe like the 80-20 rule, make sure you're actually doing the stuff that is getting you the results, and take out everything else that you can, because it's otherwise we just do all the things, and without a clone or a time turner, we just can't do all the things, can we? Yeah,
right. So
you just go crazy if you just try and do everything, so just don't.
You do, and I love this advice. Like, that's something that I hear over and over again. Like, hey, like just push that off the plate. It is not important, and just focus on things that really important. No, that's fantastic, and I like that. Like, this is awesome advice for authors to hear too, because so many times we feel like we have to do everything, and that's just not true. Like, it's kind of picking and choosing, and that's a good way of finding balance. You want to call that a very elusive thing to find, but it's fantastic. No, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's an ever-changing thing as well. Like, life keeps changing. Getting married, you've just got married, congratulations.
Thank you.
Your head's spinning and you're doing all the things, and then now you move on to a different season of life, and different things will come in and take your time and your attention, and it's kind of this constantly changing balance of life weaving around you, and you kind of have to adjust your course as necessary. So it's, I think the bullet journal has been the most helpful thing for me, but I'm quite a visual person, so it's really helped me being able to see my weekly tasks and know that what I've got on there is not overwhelming anymore. Because before I used to write it down and just freak out about how I just could not get any of it done. And then you feel like a failure. You set yourself up for failure if you think that you have to do everything. So, yeah.
It's so true. Well, we are just about out of time for today, and this is just a phenomenal interview. We loved having you on. You've shared such great things for authors. Is there anything else that you want to kind of leave our listeners with?
Just that it's been so great to chat, and thank you so much for having me. I feel like the best thing that this author life has given me is this wonderful tribe. Everywhere I go, it doesn't matter who I meet, it doesn't matter what religion they are, what gender they are, what creed they are, what color, anything. We have so much in common, and that is just magical. I feel like it's such a human connection with everyone, whether it's, oh, we're writers and we're mums, or we're writers and we're English, or we're writers and we're both fantasy writers. I just love this tribe and how we all have so much in common, and how it's just so wholesome and positive, and working together to just create this amazing industry. We are the first generation of indie authors. That is a brilliant thing, and I could not be prouder to be part of this amazing community.
I agree. I love it so much. Thanks so much, Meg, for coming on.
Thank you. Bye.
The journey to becoming a full-time author on your own terms doesn't have to be lonely or hard. We have an awesome community where we chat daily, write together, and motivate each other. To be part of this vibrant community of indie authors living their best bookish life on their own terms, go to indieauthorlifestyle.com/inner circle for more information. If you enjoyed today's episode, we'd love to hear more from you. Leaving a rating or a review helps us to create more great content like this. Be sure to rate this episode and subscribe to the show. Thanks for listening to the Indie Author Lifestyle Show. See you inside the community.